You're relaxing on your couch after a long day when suddenly there's a loud knock at your front door. You look through the peephole and see two officers standing there. They don't mention a warrant, and they don't look like they're there to arrest you. Instead, they say the six most disarming words in the police playbook. "We're just here for a welfare check." Your instinct is to open the door and show them everything is fine because you have nothing to hide. But the moment that deadbolt slides back, you might have just handed over your Fourth Amendment rights to an officer who is using kindness as a legal loophole to search your home. I'm Aiden Starr, the people's lawyer, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how the welfare check trap works and give you the word-for-word script you need to use to protect your castle without being uncooperative. Now you have to understand the trick here. Cops love to create or manufacture emergencies because it triggers what is known as the exigent circumstances doctrine. Under the Supreme Court case of Kentucky versus King, police can enter your home without a warrant if they have a reasonable belief that there is an immediate emergency inside, like someone being injured or evidence being destroyed. A welfare check is the ultimate emergency excuse because it makes the officer sound like a concerned neighbor rather than an investigator. But here is the detail the cops hope you never learn. The Supreme Court ruled in Caniglia versus Strom that police cannot simply use community caretaking as a blank check to enter your home whenever they want. Your home is the most sacred place under the Fourth Amendment, and the law requires a very high standard of proof for them to push past your front door. Let me show you how this looks in the real world. I had a viewer reach out whose door was smashed in with a battering ram because an officer claimed he smelled something decomposing and feared there was a dead body inside. In reality, the smell was just a neighbor's open trash bin, but the cops used it as a justification to tear her house apart. The most telling part? The officer waited nearly an hour looking through windows before they actually forced their way in. If there was a true life or death emergency, they wouldn't have waited an hour, they would have moved immediately. This timeline is the smoking gun that proves the emergency was a sham. So what do you do when they're standing on your porch? Step number 1, never open the door. You have zero legal obligation to open your door for a knock and talk or a welfare check unless they have a warrant. Speak to them through the door or a window. If they tell you they are there to make sure you're okay, stay calm and use these exact words. "Officer, I appreciate the concern, but I am perfectly fine and I do not consent to any entry or search of my home. Am I being detained or am I free to go?" By saying this, you are clearly invoking your Fourth Amendment rights and forcing the officer to make a choice. If they truly believe you are in danger, they will have to articulate that specific reasonable belief on their body cam. If the officer pushes back and says they must come in to verify your safety, give them your legal insurance policy script. "I understand you have a job to do, but I do not consent to a search. If you have a warrant, slide it under the door. Otherwise, I am exercising my right to privacy." This puts the burden back on the police to justify their actions in court later. Finally, make sure you have a local security camera, not a cloud-based one like Ring, trained on your front door. That footage is your silent witness that captures the timeline and proves whether the cops were actually acting on an emergency or just fishing for evidence. Knowing these magic words is the difference between a quiet night in and watching the system destroy your privacy. But what if the cops don't knock at all and instead use a no-knock warrant to surprise you in the middle of the night? That situation is even more dangerous, and I break down the survival strategy for that in my next video. So click right here to watch it. I'll see you over there.